Okay.
So welcome to the podcast, Steph Earl.
Thanks. Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. Thank you. How are you guys?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for coming on Faking It. So we're just going to chat about you. So what do you do?
I currently am a strength and conditioning coach. I'm currently based full-time out of a gym in Toronto. It's called Torque Barbell. And that takes up most of my time. On the side, I also coach remote clients, so kind of like an online business as well. So for those of people who don't necessarily live in the GTA, I work with them online as well. So
cool. So do you consider yourself an entrepreneur?
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Has that like always been?
It feels like all the entrepreneurs, when they say like, this is the hardest thing ever, you'll never get a day off. It's definitely true.
Yeah, you feel that, eh? Has that always been your kind of gig, is like an entrepreneur? Or?
Yeah, I find like when I was in university, I always was going to university because I thought I should go to university.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like you grow up and your parents are like, you should go here and do this and do that. And, you know, there's all these expectations that you need to fulfill when you grow up, and going to university and getting a good education is definitely one of them. I'm not saying drop out of school, everyone stay in school, but like.
It's not for everybody.
No, and I feel like I felt like a goat. It's like you can just, who can herd the best, you know? And multiple choice questions and all those exams are all multiple choice. And it's like, how well can you fill out bubbles? And it was just, I don't know. I definitely learned a lot. University was definitely my, shining 4 or 5 years of my life. But what I learned in class was probably the bottom of the barrel of what I learned,
Yeah, when you go for something, but it's not necessarily like, you come out with like the accompanying experiences as opposed to like art history really changed me. Like it's not always like that.
No, it wasn't. And I find like whenever I was so I went for fine arts originally, which is like like I'm an artist, like as opposed to lifting weights. And while I was doing that, it was good. And I've always wanted to be a teacher of some sort. And I was like, maybe I'm good at art, so maybe I'll be an art teacher,
Yeah.
When you're in high school, you just kind of marry all the things that you're good at and just kind of hope that's a career.
Yeah.
And when I was in third year, I was like, man, like I don't know. And then I got into health and fitness, and I'm like, you know what, this is it. So I switched over to kinesiology, and that was so much better. And learning about motor diseases and all those things was so cool.
That's a huge switch.
Such a huge switch.
How did you change tracks like that?
I don't know.
Seamlessly.
Honestly, I know. I feel like whenever you get asked a question of what got you into health and fitness, it always 90% of people is like, it took a breakup.
Really?
Oh, totally.
Oh, I would never have guessed that.
I was at like the bottom of like, in typical university where you're out every single weekend, you eat out, all you make is pasta every lunch, breakfast, dinner, and like grilled
fast
cheese.
And terrible for you.
Yeah. My poor arteries. And then I was...
Oh, my arteries.
They hurt.
They hurt.
Yeah, so they started hurting a lot. And
it's like, I need to change.
Yeah. And I woke up one morning, I was like, hey, you know what, something needs to change. And I just recently broke up out of a super, kind of toxic relationship. And it was all kind of uphill from there. I got into health and fitness, and I was like, this is my calling. Like I switched my major and I started studying that, and it was really great. And I took a minor or a specialty, I should say. I didn't do the best in math, so it wasn't quite a minor.
That's a huge change.
Oh, I know. And and a business degree as a specialty. So I know my dad was like, did you just sit around a fire and just kind of pick one, close your eyes and spin the globe and put your finger on? So it was.
You're like, no,
good.
Dad, I flipped a coin. I did what all responsible people would do.
Yeah, 50-50. You can't really go wrong.
Great. It's fine.
But it was good. I feel like whatever I learned in university was such time management and what it's like to hustle and do all those things. And I've always had 3 or 4 jobs in university to help pay my way through school. Yes. And I feel like those things are what taught me to kind of be where I'm at today. And
you learn how to like juggle.
Yeah.
But do you feel like you learned a balance, or are you still trying to like achieve that?
Yeah, I feel like as you grow up, there's just more things to balance, and in university, it's balancing your studies and your social life and your health and fitness, whether that be the gym or, putting time aside to like make good meals and stuff like that. And now when you grow up, it's like, my boyfriend and I are looking for a house. It's like I need to set a time, for that, and then also my social life and all those things. It's really hard. I feel like a lot of people say it's like a triangle. Your wellness, your social life, and then your job, and to pick 2 of those things. But I really feel like it's like an octagon.
Yeah.
Like there's
like several octagons layered.
Yeah.
And there's like
a transparency also.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Like a rainbow thing that
the
you play
other
with
octagon, you can't see. And
yeah. They like layer on top of each other. And I feel like it all comes down to time management and your priorities, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Priorities shift. They shift.
They do. And, you know, one week it might be you going to the gym, but then the next week it might be like your job where you have to be in the office for 10, 12 hours a day. And it's okay when that happens.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. It's okay when you mix a workout. Like,
yeah. Just as long as you get back onto it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So was health and fitness always a part of your life beforehand, and you sort of like left as you got to university, or did you just literally pick it up? Because it seems like you're an athletic person or whatever.
Yeah. So when I was in high school, the day I turned 15, I got my first job was a hostess. And my second job on the side was I was volunteering to get those 40 hours in high school to graduate. A hostess at like a diner. Oh, nice. And then on the side, I was a gymnastics coach to get those 40 hours of volunteer work that you need to graduate, right? So, I started coaching there because I also did gymnastics on the side. I did competitive gymnastics like my whole life growing up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was really good. I miss it a lot. It's one of those things that's like such an ingrained value in your life that
especially gymnastics is intense.
Yeah, it's
right.
It's fun.
Yeah,
but I feel like at grade 11, I was like, all right, I really need to focus on my studies, and my body was just like hurting, and it's just like such a high impact thing. And I've always been doing some sort of sport, and then I got into university and I didn't really do anything, and I forgot how much I loved doing it until there's a bunch of girls, they're like, you should join the cheerleading team here. And I was just like, oh my gosh, spending 40 hours a week with girls, like I don't know how this is going to go. And it's entirely how I thought it was going to go. I only did it for about a year.
Oh, really?
Oh, totally. It was good, but
too much drama?
It was just like, and it was like very cliquey, and it was a really good outlet for the time. But then after, I did for a year and a half, and then halfway through the season, there was a bunch of us that just kind of stopped and moved on. And then I kind of took some time away there, and then my best friend, ironically named Steph, at the time.
The Stephs.
This Steph Squared. She was just like, you need to come to military fitness camp with me. And I was just like, what is that? And I'm like, blood, sweat, and tears in the middle of a field when it's raining. Sign me up. That is the most hardcore thing you can do. It's way better than cheerleading. Sparkles and
the
glitter.
drama. I want to bleed.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Right.
Sign me up. And so here, my first Sunday morning, I bartended the night before, like 2 hours of sleep. I put on my like stupid cheerleading shorts, are all I had at the time, and sparkly shorts, going to this military fitness camp.
Sparkly shorts. That's a great image.
And I remember it was like the hardest thing I've ever done. And I remember sitting in my car after, and I was just like, man, like, I don't know. I just had so many emotions. Like I just knew I had to keep going. Yeah. And I remember we went out to go get breakfast, we went to go get brunch after. It was like our thing. And I was like, so like sad and happy and like confused at the same time. And I was just like, man, like I've never done anything that's like challenged me this much before. Wow. And I was like, I need to do it. Yeah. And then after that, he closed it down come October, and it started getting really cold, and it was like, okay, well, like we might actually get hypothermia out here, so we need to stop.
So something else. What else?
So and then I kind of stopped, and I was just like, man, I don't know. And I was talking to a couple of my friends, and they're like, you should try CrossFit. And I was like, man, that's the only thing that I can think of that's like the same sort of like mentality that we experience in that field. So I did CrossFit for about 4 or 5 years competitively. And it was awesome. It was great. And then, I finished university, and I was like, kind of want to try something new. I'm tired of training like 6 days a week for hours a day, because CrossFit's very, I love CrossFit. I don't want you guys to think that I don't love it. I really do. It's still a big part of my life. But I think that to be good at CrossFit, it's such a broad sport. Like, you need to be good at gymnastics, you need to be good at weightlifting, you need to be good at running, you need to be good at everything. And to be good at that and to be also compete at that level that I wanted to, you needed to train like hours a day.
Right, yeah. For people who don't know what CrossFit is, that aren't jocks like us. What, like, I know you just explained it's like a lot of different elements, but what is it?
It's they always said that CrossFit in a sentence is being generally good across all domains of fitness. So and when you compete with those things, you know, if you guys ever have Netflix, there's a bunch of CrossFit movies on there.
Oh, I didn't know that. Cool.
So cool. They're so well made. It's awesome. Sometimes I watch it. Don't watch it before you go to bed. You'd be too hyped up. You just can't sleep. So much adrenaline.
I want to climb things.
Yeah.
I gotta lift.
I gotta climb this couch right now from the back. Yeah. So it's really great, and it's lifting weights and walking on your hands and then going for a 400-meter run. It's just it's really great. And you know, there's a competitive way that you can go down is being through those things, but the other good thing about CrossFit is that it's scalable for everybody. So if someone can't, you know, they walk into the gym for the first time and they have, I don't know, 150 pounds to lose, they've never squatted a day of their life, they can definitely do it too, because there's always scaling options. You know, they can squat to a high box, and they can maybe run for the first time whenever they're ready. You know, CrossFit is good for everybody and everyone, and as well as you can take it as far as you want. And I, of course, you know, wanted to take it as far as I could. and I was like very frustrated, and it was just like almost too much. I was eating
the competitive version of it?
Yeah. And I was finding like I didn't have anything else of value in my life. It was the gym and sleep and school, and then my dog, and then that's it. And like, what can I be good at for a couple hours a day, a few days a week, and then also have, you know, like friends,
other stuff,
like other things. And that's when I found powerlifting, and that's, you know, it's 3 lifts. It's squat, bench, and deadlift, and that's it.
Simplified it quite a bit. No hand walking.
Yeah, only maybe some days, but
yeah, you still do that, I'm sure, just not competitively.
Yeah, and it's really great, and I teach it now for a living, and powerlifting, anyone can do it too. And you know, it's really cool just to be strong, and what you can learn underneath a barbell, you can also apply to your life, and it's really great. So
that's great. And so when did you sort of take that leap into actually changing from being a participant to like doing your training?
I switched over from doing CrossFit at the end when I graduated university. I was just like, I felt like I just completed like the biggest milestone of, you know, like probably that I've done yet in my life. And I took a few months off, and I moved to a new city, moved to Burlington from Waterloo. And I was just kind of adjusting, and then I started doing CrossFit, but I knew I didn't really want to do it anymore. And then I had a couple girlfriends at the gym that I was at, and they were like, you need to try this thing. And I was like, what's this thing? And they said, there's powerlifting, and they got me into it. And after a few short months of them peer pressuring me to make the switch, I did. And I'm so glad that I did. It's really great. I miss CrossFit a lot, but.
Yeah. I mean, like, you were going to get into like, I guess, was it the competition that sort of got to you, or was it what you needed to do to prepare for stuff that kind of got to you? And like
the competition aspect, I feel like I've always been a very competitive person. It's not so much me competing against other people. Like I don't care what the girl next to me is doing. It's just like
you.
Yeah, it's you. And every time you do a competition, it's like, I want to do better than my last competition, you know? And I feel like competing in any sport, it's like whether you make provincials or make nationals, like there's a very clear, concrete, performance-based goal aspect. And I feel like I'm the type of person that needs to like work towards something. And I think it's very healthy for anyone to have any, you know, type of goal. Like, I did this year, and I want to do this at this meet next year, and stuff like that. It's constantly just getting better. So I think that's what kind of got me hooked on the competition aspect of things, for sure.
And if you didn't like see the results that you wanted to, was your rebound from like a competition, did you like feel too like negative about it, or was it?
Yeah, I feel like we're our own worst enemy, you know?
Yeah.
And if we fail something, it's like, man. But I find the greatest athletes and the greatest entrepreneurs are people who use failure as probably the best thing that can happen to you. Adversity is like the best thing that can happen to you as a person, regardless if it's in your sport or if it's in your business or a relationship or anything, because you take those mistakes and you take those challenges and you like make yourself better from them, you know?
Yeah, it's that grit aspect.
Grit's a muscle. Have you ever heard that saying before?
No, but it makes total sense.
Grit's a muscle. You gotta chain it.
I love that. Have you read the book Grit?
No, I haven't.
Good? I've read part of it now. I'm just reading it, but it's like a big study that was done into people who I think began with like entering, what's the big military school in the US? There's the one that It's like sort of a prep school or private school. Anyways, it's like what people go to. A lot of like presidents have been a part of it, but like most people drop out of the first initial their version of basic. It's just so hard and tiring. And and they correlated that there really isn't any connection to people who were like the best of the best of the best coming in there. You might even see the guy who's lower on the ranking for physical, lower on the ranking for marks, but he makes it through because he just like won't stop. So he won't give up. So there's like this grit mentality and like what makes one person successful over another. And it's like sometimes people just have, I feel like that's like what all like the fitness, but like goals generally have to do is just like to do with grit.
You gotta test your grit, and I feel like in order to find your potential as a person, you need to first test your endurance in something.
Oh, so true.
You know,
it teaches you so much, like the physical stuff, like it'll, if you give up easily sometimes at certain things physically, you know, maybe there's other areas in your life that you're giving up on.
You'll always find someone's truest character when they're trying to unravel Christmas lights out of the box from last year. You know?
I've never heard that, but like it can't be more true.
The truest of yourself will come out.
I'm kind of ashamed as like in my mind I'm thinking like, oh yeah, that's probably not a good thing. My inner anger. Like fuck it, we're buying new ones.
Every
year. You didn't solve the problem. It's just boxes. Oh shit. Yeah.
Oh boy. It's so true though.
So telling. Yeah. But you see a lot through people, I think, through their physical, like what they try. And a lot of people are scared of lifting. Like, like I bet you've probably heard the whole like I know. People's like perception of it and like lifting in itself, like especially for women, I think like people don't understand physical, you know.
And they're scared, right? And I feel like growing up, any woman, I mean, it's 2018, it's starting to take a turn, but it's still definitely a challenge. Like I always have women come in, or, you know, they send me an email for my website saying they're interested in all these things, and they're like, I'm so scared to lift heavy. Like, can we just do like more reps at a lighter weight or something? I'm just like, what are you scared of? Like
being a Hulk? Like you don't
because I've been trying to do that for 6 years now. Right, and it's still not happening.
I know. I love when you say that to people. Like I think I've heard you say that a couple times, and I'm like, it's so true. Like
it's so true.
What do you want? Like I want to be a Hulk, but I can't. Like it's just, you know, People's.
I once had this one client come in for her first day, and she's like this mid-50s. You know, pretty athletic, and she plays tennis and golf, and she does all these things, and she's cool. And I'm like, yes, it's gonna be a great client. And I remember she got in early, and she's on the treadmill, she's walking, and I go over and I say, hey, like, you know, like, what are you looking for, and what are your goals, and all those things. We're just kind of, you know, bantering back and forth before her workout, and she looked me up and down and was like, anything, but I just don't want to look like that. And I was just like, what? Look like what? Like, excuse me. And and then we were going through, I was like, oh my goodness. I just kind of shook it off, and, you know, I'm like, all right, let's just.
How did you shake that off?
I know.
I feel like I would just have been like, then this isn't going to work out because you're an ignorant asshole.
Yeah, you're a dick.
That's such a dick thing to say.
It was so mean. And so we ended up, I was like, okay, you know what, Stephanie, like, I got this, you know, talking to myself in my head. I'm like, I'm just going to get this woman to do like really some of my favorite exercises, some of my funnest things. And I was really trying to get creative, and, you know, and we're going through like these little circuits that I got her to do. And they were kind of mixed between like bodybuilding and some, you know, I hate the word functional fitness, but like, you know, flipping a tire, like just, you know, things that are like A to B. It's very clear what to do, very task oriented things. And, you know, typically those things are more fun than doing like a tricep extension. I don't know. Yeah. And I was like, okay, we're going to do this like 3 times through, and then we're just going to move on, you know, and try to make it really fun for her. And she was like, the second time through, she's like, can we just move on exercises? I just don't want to do things more than once. And I was just like, what? What are you afraid of? Like, yeah, it's just a constant uphill battle of like trying to teach women that you need to do things in order to be strong, and in order to master something, you need to do things more than once.
Yes.
And
not to be afraid of like lifting heavy
to actually
stuff.
Try. Yeah, you're not, you know, our bodies are very resilient. They're not going to break.
No.
I mean,
they push humans out of them. They are pretty strong. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't think you can flip a tire?
You can literally give birth your vagina. Yeah. Are you serious?
You are totally capable of pushing a human out of you.
Yeah.
But a tire is just
a tire. A good life. What a Goodyear tire is completely out of the cards.
Right. It's just crazy.
I can't leg press more than 90 pounds, but I can push a baby out of a canal. Are you serious?
Yeah, I don't get where people's... Yeah, and I think there's like that split. Like there's people who clearly know the whole there's a movement, right? There's like this strong like women sort of like fit is strong kind of thing that's happening. I know you probably see that all the time. And then there's the other side of it where people are like, why would you power lift? Like you're gonna get so jacked and gross, and like even people who you think wouldn't think that stuff. Yeah. It's like, well,
I feel like my family, like my dad and my mom and stuff like that, my dad's always like the person that, he hates when I go to the grocery store in gym clothes and wet hair, He's just like, dry your hair before you go out. Like, you should wear heels when you go to dinner, like all those things.
Wow.
Yeah, my dad's amazing. Like, hey, Dad, sorry if you're listening to this. I know you probably will. I love you a lot. But it's just like that old school mentality that women need to fit this certain like margin, and it's just like, no, we're our own margin. Like, you can be whoever the fuck you want.
Yeah, there's lots of margins. Yeah,
whoever you want, and like who I am does not affect your life in any way. Like, how does me wearing high heels to dinner affect your dinner?
Right.
Yeah. Like, I'm sorry if it does. And
or not, like, or you're not sorry,
or I'm really not sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna eat my pasta and flip flops. Thank you.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, and probably a whole bottle of wine because of your attitude. I need it.
You should just ask that when your client came in, just like, oh, sorry, I have to go drink a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
You can sit here in your ignorance. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really horrible. I mean, she's definitely not my client. It's like not gonna work out that way. But and I feel like everyone, everyone's program should be different, and everyone's goals are different, and all those things. I can totally respect that. But in the end, like, you do need to push yourself, and you do need to experience, like, you need to find your grit, and you need to know what that is, regardless if you're a triathlon athlete or if you're a powerlifting athlete or if you're just someone working in sales in an office. Like, you need to try hard at something. Just try harder.
Just try hard.
Just try harder. It's so simple. It is. Like in everything in your life. Don't burn yourself out, but try harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think you have a very unique mix of like your knowledge. So you yourself have been and are an athlete, and then you have like your knowledge in your education in terms of like kinesiology and everything that you did, right?
I have a very weird resume.
Yeah, your resume is weird, but I think it's good. I think that's a good thing, because people who actually like get training from you, you can see that it's not all just like one thing. You understand life and stuff that's going on in different areas. But I think that you sympathize with people, but you also don't let them get away with too much shit, which is good for a trainer. But like I think that, like, do you feel being an athlete and sort of like understanding that helps you with your clients, and how?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if someone, were to come to me and they're like, hey, like, I'm feeling really down lately. I'm in a slump. I'm very unmotivated and all those things. I think there's a certain importance of still training, like still going to the gym, but, maybe take it easy for a week and see kind of how you feel that way. I feel like it's important. You're never always going to be motivated. And I feel like one of the things that are kind of like going around right now is everyone's kind of saying that. And it's very true. You're going to wake up some days and you're not going to want to go to the gym, or you're not going to want to go to work, and you're not going to want to go to like that bridal shower this Sunday, but it's important for you to do those things. And there's some days where you need to wake up and you need to take a day off. That's why personal days exist. But there's also some days that you need to just kind of suck it up and go through it. Yeah. And whether you're just walking through the motions or not, and however you show up to the gym that day is not necessarily how your workout's going to feel.
So true. Oh my God, is that ever true?
Yeah, like you might have the best workout of your life, and you might just walk in the gym that day just feeling like absolute garbage. And I can't wait for the day that I open up my own gym and just to have on that front door have a sign that just says leave it at the door. And it's so true, because like that is your hour. It is. And don't let anyone else or anything else take that away from you.
Yeah, you have to show up for you. So many people think the gym is like against them in a way. I feel like
they think it's a chore.
Yeah, they think it's a chore. But then like if you're showing up as it, like I'm going to a place to do something for me. Yeah. Like it can be like a spa. It can be like that kind of thing. Totally if you just frame it that way.
Yeah.
And show up for you. Do it for you.
Yeah. You're not doing it for your doctor that told you had to lose weight. Right. Like, I mean, maybe at first, but
yeah, probably mostly at first being like, oh, I'm gonna die. No.
I think it's like I think it's super important to like find something that you really love. And for me right now, that's powerlifting.
Right.
I feel like I'm definitely not going to lose it like leave that very soon. I have like, you know, a lot of things I want to accomplish first, but like I'll always be touching a barbell for the rest of my life. But I think it's, you know, I definitely sympathize with some clients who are going through a hard time because like I've been there, and you know, the person next to you has been there too. And I think it's important to just kind of push through and just kind of find your reason why. Again,
definitely. I think I read this really great quote the other day because I haven't noticed a lot of people posting about motivation lately. It's strange that you said that. Like, I know that you also had posted something like what keeps people like going and everything, and but like it's sometimes not about motivation but more about discipline, and it's more about that section of your self, like just following your routine. But like, so where exactly are you taking things in the three different areas? Because you're doing professional coaching, you're doing things at the gym for actual like your classes, which are awesome, and you're yourself, like you're actually competing yourself. What's going on in all those areas?
Next? What next? So right now I'm at Torque and everything, and everything's great. But I feel like for my professional goals, I would love, it's like my dream. I have like a little goal board right above my bed, and one of those things for the past 3 years ago, I made this goal board. And one of them is to open up my own gym. I have such a great vision. It's so cool. And I would love to do that. It's very difficult to open up your own gym. It's not a profession that you make millions unless you're this, I don't know, unless you're really lucky.
Unless you franchise it.
And, you know, and I'm not going to be posting and following all the fads. Like, I just want to stick true to myself and what I know that works and what I know that what people really like. So it's just kind of like an uphill battle with that. I'm not ready, obviously, just yet, but hopefully soon. I have this have the name and everything in my mind.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So hopefully that happens in the next few years. As for like my athlete, or I guess my sport career, I'm really trying to make Team Canada for powerlifting. I know.
That's so cool.
It's in Sweden next year. Like, how cool would it be to go to Sweden?
Pretty cool.
So cool.
I think just competing like you do is so cool.
Thanks. Yeah, I literally love it. It's so cool just to be on the platform with like all these lights and just
it's like a stage.
Things.
I didn't realize. Yeah, it's like literally like a stage. I watched when you were competing Calgary.
Yeah,
and it's like you walk out and you're really performing. Like, there's a whole bloody audience, and it's just not what I thought it was going to be.
It was so cool. Nationals was like just such a great experience, and Calgary was just like such an amazing place to host the event. Like, it's like the Nashville of Canada. Like,
definitely.
It was so cool. I mean, it was in February, so it was like the midst of winter. It was like the furthest thing from a vacation. It was so cold. But yeah, it was just such a great experience, and I came fourth this past year. And you need to basically win to go to Worlds. So it's usually the first and or the second place person from each weight category go to Worlds. So it's just a couple spots shy there, but I mean, I just got to put in the work, right? Those people
Congrats,
who go to
you're
Worlds.
So close, because there is a buttload of people who are there. Like, that's like saying something.
Yeah, I hope so.
Did really well, yeah.
Yeah, so thank you. So I really hope that those are my cards this year. I mean, it would be amazing if I did. It'd be crazy. Like, people that go to Worlds have been powerlifting competitively. They've gone to nationals at least like 4, 5, 6, even close to like 10 times. So,
oh, wow. And this was your first?
This is my first one this past year. So, I mean, if I were to go my second nationals, like, that's crazy.
But isn't it crazy that you even placed like for your first?
Yeah, okay, I guess cool. So. Yeah.
Just everybody put that
Top
into perspective
5,
out there.
I know.
Steph is special and she's not. She's pretending that she isn't.
It's like tune my own horn.
It's like everyone's like, oh, there must have been like 5 people competing, or what was it?
Yeah.
She came in fourth. No.
Yeah, I think there's something like 600 something athletes.
Wow.
Yeah, there are weight classes though, so it's like kind of all divided up. But maybe like 15 or 20 in my weight class. I can't remember. But yeah.
So you're Team Canada.
That'd be so cool.
That would be so cool.
Oh, just like Canada, like all these powerlifters they wear a singlet, you know, those shorts and the tops kind of melted together. It's
I always thought that was for wrestling.
It's exactly
for
like
wrestling,
wrestling.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't think
wrestlers
that
wear
was
singlets too. Yeah. And so we wear those sexy things. I just can't wait to have my Canada flag like singlet, you know, just to make it look even just a little bit more appealing.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't wait. So hopefully that's I don't know what I would do after that. I don't know.
So it's like a major goal. Huge goal.
Yeah, huge goal. Maybe I'll have kids after that. I don't know. We'll see.
Just simple. Just like, conquer the world. Have babies.
Have babies. Maybe they'll come out bench pressing.
Strong baby. Yeah, they will. Holding barbells. Be like, where did you get that? No.
An 8-ounce baby weight class.
Yeah. Just at Worlds. We're just going to melt these two things together at Worlds. The babies will compete.
Oh my God, that'd be crazy.
Wow, that's an amazing goal. So with that though, you're obviously trained by somebody then. So are you part of your own team, or is it like you get trained?
So there's a lot of powerlifters that coach themselves and they don't have a coach and stuff like that, but I don't really recommend not having a coach. It's also very difficult to coach yourself. So I work really closely with my coach. His name's Justin Reason. So you guys can find him on Instagram. His thing's Lift Hacks, or just his name, which is Justin Reason. And I've been with him for a couple years now. And at first he kind of showed me the ropes and what to do and all those things, which is amazing. And there comes to a certain point where you grow as an athlete where your coach kind of almost becomes like your mentor, less so about, hey, you should fix this on your squat today. It's rather like programming over the next 12 weeks becomes more of an importance of how you're squatting every single day. I mean, I'm not saying your form's not important, but different things change importance. He's been such a great mentor to me, both for, his business full time is to coaching as well. And he's been such a great mentor for me in so many different ways. And he's one of my closest friends. Like, I love him so much. And he's really great. He's been a coach for Team Canada for a few years now. So he's been in the game for quite some time. Yeah, it's really great. And I think it's really important to surround yourself with people who are definitely way better than you to teach you all these different things. And he's great. So there's so many awesome coaches in the sport, and I hope to be one of them that's recognized someday.
Yeah, is that super common for people to compete as well as coach people in competitive stuff and then also teach?
It's almost like a So I feel
checking
like
all those boxes.
One of the most frustrating things in the fitness industry is you can claim yourself as a coach and have no experience coaching. Yeah, it's one of those. It's like people go to med school to be a doctor, and then all of a sudden the person beside you, but it's not a prerequisite. It's just something that you should do, and then there's someone next to you that claims himself as a doctor, but they've just went to like high school. It's the same thing. Yeah. And
there's no like licensing or like
there is,
testing?
But you don't have to have it. Like, it's not
surprising.
Like, yeah. And I feel like if you're looking for a coach, it's definitely really important to see if they have insurance and if they have, the experience, like not only in the sport that you want to compete in, but like look at their success stories and their clients and look at their background and what they're putting out, the work that they're putting out. If you just like look on their Instagram or their LinkedIn or whatever and they're like, I'm an online coach, it's just like, oh my God, here we go. Like,
right, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, it's very difficult, and it's almost kind of like a slap in the face for people who have been doing it for like years, and it's very hard. But that's just the industry right now. I'm sure it's gonna change eventually, but it's definitely a battle to kind of like put yourself over those like those numbers of people who aren't actually qualified. I'm sorry, you're not 16 years old and you're not an online coach. Like, right. You're still in high school.
Yeah.
Like, what can you offer
it's Instagram.
Somebody?
Instagram is definitely to blame.
yeah, absolutely. It's like the social media aspect on things is just like a whole other ballpark and topic to talk about. But yeah, so I think it's really important to like kind of do your research if you're looking for someone and see if if they actually know what they're doing, and look at the reviews and testimonials and kind of what they're putting out and what they're doing themselves, and just kind of like choose your coach or your trainer or your gym or whatever you want to do from there. And their intentions, right? Like, if they're just doing it to get paid, like, probably not a good idea. But yeah, for sure.
So what part of like if somebody's on a part of their fitness journey, like what do you suggest to people who aren't like getting back into it, but they need to get back into it?
They need to just do it. Just set your alarm for 6 a.m. tomorrow and come to my class.
Show up at Barbells 101.
Just show up. Yeah, show up to my class.
So what is Barbells 101 then? That you do teach this one that's like a get off your ass class.
Totally. Yeah. So basically the gym that I would love to open up one day is kind of based on this like class. So this class that, I know.
Please don't open it too far out of the city.
I know. I'll try my best. But I don't want to. Not many people live up north. If you know me, I'm a cottage person. So Maybe I'll jive every now and then. But anyway, so I coach this Barbells 101 program. It's held at Torque, and basically it's teach people how to touch a barbell for the first time. So we go over the 3 main lifts. So squat, benching, deadlifting. We talk about and we learn all about those fundamental things and how to move under a barbell, what's proper and all that stuff. And then we also master a bunch of different exercises across a variety of range of motion, different planes of movement, in order to build someone's athleticism and their fitness levels. We also do a bunch of like strongman stuff and conditioning and bodybuilding and powerlifting and fun circuits, and it's really, really great. I feel like if CrossFit and powerlifting and bodybuilding all had a baby, it would be this. But yeah. Yep. Yeah, some people have seen some like amazing results in this class, and I feel like as a trainer, you're always faking it every single day. You're like, man, I don't know if my is it working? Like as an entrepreneur in anything, it's like, man, someday you'll wake up, you're like, I suck, like things don't work. And
you doubt yourself.
Yeah, you doubt yourself, and then all of a sudden one day, one of your clients texts you like a 6-pack, and you're like, wait, where did your abs come from? Like Ida messaged me, one of my clients from my class, she texted me yesterday, and she's this 34-year-old middle-aged woman who's lost almost 50 pounds, and she has a freaking 6-pack. And I'm just like, man, and this girl has not cut out bread. She's not cut out dairy. She's not on any of those crazy fad diets. Like she just comes to class every single day. She tries her hardest. She eats her protein. She drinks her water. She eats her vegetables, and she like balances things. Like
keeping it simple, really,
keep it
right?
simple, exactly. And it's so great, and it's so like satisfying to see those things.
So that's like the payoff for you, right?
Yeah. It's like
people.
Every time I see something like that, it's just like, man, this is why I do what I do. It's like, yes, like I'm so like happy for them when they see their, or if they've been chasing a 200-pound squat for so long and they get that 200 pounds and then, they go for 210 after and they get that too, and they just kind of blow their own expectations out of the water. And I feel like that is something that's like such a good feeling. So great. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so great.
There's a super good vibe. And I think Torque too, like everybody who's there, I don't know, there's like a special... Amazing. Yeah, there's something special about it.
It's such a good thing. If you guys are ever looking for a gym and you're all inspired now, look for a gym that has a sense of community. Like your typical like Globo gym, like Good Life and all those things, like they want you to pay but not to show up, and that's how they're in business.
They like that.
Yeah, they do. They absolutely do. And I'm sure there's some really good trainers at Good Life every here and there, but I think finding a gym that is not only gonna you should look forward to going there, and whether it be like your friends that you've made there and you kind of want to see them and see your coaches and all those different things, and just really look forward to going every single morning when that alarm goes off. I think that means you found the right place.
Yeah.
And I found a lot of like CrossFit gyms, like CrossFit in general is like just based off community, and that's really what I kind of want to strive, not only in my classes, but in my own business and brand as well, is like that sense of inclusivity, like everyone's welcome, whether you have one arm or two, or, if you've just started, or if you've been an ex-athlete or whatever, like I want everyone to kind of feel welcome and everyone be able to feel pushed and being able to train their grit as well, right? So,
that definitely comes across for sure.
Yeah.
In your classes.
Thanks. I hope so.
Yeah.
They're so much fun. Like, I'm almost like jealous of all your guys' program. Like, I want to do these classes. Yeah.
You can. Everyone begs you to. Yeah. You're just like, no, I need to lead this class.
Okay, no. Everyone just asked me to run a mile.
I know.
Whenever we test that mile, I'm like, oh, can you do it too? It's like, no, I'm wearing my Converse. Sorry, but really, my running shoes are in the back.
Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah.
No, that's good. You create such a great environment. And if people are looking for a trainer, they should definitely seek out Steph for sure.
Guys.
So where can people find you?
So I have a website. It's StephEarlStrong.com. So StephEarlStrong. And my middle name's EARL is in there too. So StephEarlStrong.com. You can find on there, I have like a little contact me page. You can just fill out a form and you can email me through there. there. My Instagram is Steph Real Strong, and then you can also just come swing by Torque anytime. I basically live there. I basically have a pillow and a sleeping bag in the back on the massage chair. Yep. So yeah, it's great. We have a really good community where we are, and yeah, I'm really excited to see where it's going to be in like a year even. You know?
Yeah, just whatever's around the corner. Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much for coming on, and I'll post all of your links in the show description.
Cool. Thanks so much.
Cool. Thanks, Steph.
Bye.
This has been an Evoke Media podcast.